Hello, Sparrows. Hello, and welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. I am Valerie Miller of TVM, the Valerie Miller Double Fold. This very moment, you have opportunity to change. Yes, you do. And we have a juicy tonight, a little bit different, however, fabulous. We have Jessica Lauren Vine coming in with us, the RV Queen. That's what I call her. That's what I call her. And she should be coming into the room momentarily. And we're going to be talking about some consciousness and home and what home looks like. Mobile, that is. So, not the traditional type of home setting. So, we're going to bring her on in. So, get in, get comfortable. And for all of you that are going to be coming in, catching the repeat, hello there.
Hey.
Come on in and be sure to share. As soon as you drop into the room, share, share, share. I can't say it enough. Share, because sharing is caring. Somebody somewhere needs to hear what we have to say, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah, so welcome to the room, Jessica. I'm so glad that you are here, and we're going to have a very good time as we talk about the consciousness, making the decision to be an RV traveler, homeschooling your kids. Where did all this come from? X, Y's, and Z's, right? I'm excited. So,
Yeah, there was definitely a good sign right before I came on. Out of the blue, I don't know. I didn't have any music on. The song "No Place I'd Rather Be" started playing, so
you can't get anything better than that. And
it's
on
pretty
my
awesome.
side, it's self-love, self-preservation.
There you go.
And it is showing self-love when it comes to doing what it is that you love. Isn't that great? Oh my gosh. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about Jessica? How did Jessica become who she is right here, right now?
Oh, wow. That would take a little while, but I'll give
I know, but I have to ask it.
So the short version, um, so the short version now, I'm married to a veteran, and we've got 4 kids, beautiful, from ages 15 down to 4,
Huh?
and we do homeschool all of them. So the youngest one is just going to be going into kindergarten, so we'll really have 4 seriously homeschooling in August.
Yes.
So
Love it.
so so I actually grew up as an RV kid from the age of 5 to 12,
Uh-huh.
and that got me more open, and it didn't seem like such a crazy thing to do. But
Right.
actually, like as a kid, I wanted to have like a steady, stable place, and when we did move into somewhere that had a more traditional thought to people, I
Right.
was so excited, but it was mainly because of the telephone we got installed. So, I mean, it was my 12th birthday, and I got the phone installed on my 12th birthday. I remember that. The phone guy was like, "What's wrong with this girl?" I'm like, "It's a phone, our own
Love it.
phone." So,
We love it.
like, if I had a phone on the road, I wouldn't have wanted that place so badly, though. So now I can travel and have my phone, obviously.
Isn't that a great thing, and how things change?
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
long ago.
I know. I'm like, that's crazy how far we've come. And, now instead of having to wait, I'm like, a lot of people you hear, oh, wow, they've retired and now they're hitting the road and they're like 75. And I'm like, is that safe? Like, my dad, I know how he is at 74.
Yeah, very
So he's a rascal. That's what he is.
you got it on.
What's that?
I said you got it honest.
So yes, I know. And my mom is like, you're like your dad. So I was like, yeah, well, I'm a little bit like you both. I worry and make jokes about it all the time. So you created this monster.
Gotta love it. Gotta. But it is it's a
But
beautiful thing to have that convenience, though. Think about it. Everybody is not that privileged.
mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
vacation
yeah.
all the time. All the time.
Well, okay. So that's a common misconception, by the
Is
way.
it?
So
Is it? Tell truth.
so okay, so this is what normally happens. So we'll stay in a spot about 2 to 3 weeks. So it just really depends on like we have an RV club membership. So some sites we can stay 2 weeks, some sites we can stay 3. And so if we can stay 3, I usually like to do that because it cuts down on like, the travel day. If you travel really far, that whole day is like you traveled. That's what you do. So that day, a lot of times in Florida, though, we're only traveling like 2 hours. So we're like from this time, we're going from Orlando, where we are here, and then we're going up to Ormond Beach, which is Daytona Beach area.
Right?
Hard work there.
Isn't it crazy? Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to be taking some time off. We're only staying in Daytona Beach for 5 days, so I'm going to be taking more time off there. But
Okay.
what we do, so I've kind of developed a system because it is easy to just be like, I just want to have some fun,
Oh, it is such. I don't even know what to say because when we first met and you told me this is what you do, I was like, what? How do you even do that? How do you even get to the point to where, okay, we're going to sell our house, we're going to get rid of everything, condense down, pack the kids up, and we're hitting the road? Where did that come from? Where did it come from?
Do you want the dirt?
The dirt. It's all about the hashtag juicy.
Okay.
Share.
Okay. So we had moved. Okay, we lived in. It's a lot, girl. So we lived in Kansas City. We moved back to Tennessee. We lived in a tiny apartment. We had 2 businesses that went very south. We got evicted from our apartment, moved back in with my dad for 2.5 years, and in that time had the other baby. Yay, that's the greatest thing to do whenever you're going through this. Let's have another kid.
Gifts come when you least expect them.
I know, it's like, well, then I can stop thinking about myself and start thinking about how hungry I am. Wait, that's still me. Darn it. So we did that. And then like another thing that I'd always wanted to do is to own the house, to have the house, which is like, I don't know, the subdivision that is the nicest in the town, just because it makes you feel cool, right?
American dream, hypothetical.
Yes. So I was like, this is what I have to do. So I was working really hard, and at that point, we had an eviction on our thing. Our credit was terrible, and so I'm like, well, how am I going to do that? But my attitude is like, well, how do I make this work for me?
Exactly.
So we actually found a guy that was very motivated to he couldn't sell us his house because we didn't have the credit to buy it, but
Right.
he had his house where he was living in Mississippi. He had this house, which was from his last marriage. And he's like, I'm drowning here. I really couldn't care less what your credit score is. So I was like, fabulous. So we moved into the house. And of course, if you're dealing with someone in that situation, they're probably not in the best place. So neither one of us were in the best place.
Right.
So we moved in with a hole in the roof, just one big hole.
Huge hole. Okay.
But he did get some guy to come put like a piece of wood over it or something. So this guy, we're like, all right, we're gonna be paying the mortgage or whatever, so you can stay afloat and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my god, this mortgage is serious. I can't go nowhere. I can't do anything. I just gotta work like 24/7 so that I can pay for this dang house. It was like, it was terrible. Like, I love the fact that, like, it was 4 bedrooms. The one bedroom was up in the top, had this cool little lofty thing. I used it for an office for a minute, and then I was
Yeah.
like, I'm sick and tired of climbing these stairs every 5 minutes. Kids, are you killing each other? And my husband was working in a factory at that point, and he has multiple injuries from the military. So
Right.
he would come home broken, and I'm like, you can't be doing. It's like, well, we got to pay for this house. Like,
That's
good
scary.
point.
It's scary.
So yes, it was terrifying. And like, we'd started a boat detailing business with my really good friend, my best friend.
Right.
So like they had put, they're very smart. They put like all of the business documents together and all that stuff. So we had that, and he could stop working at the factory and could supervise our crew.
Right.
So I was like, oh, that's a load. But we're still working. So we're FaceTiming and, like, I missed you. And the kids are like, what's up with this? So I was like, I'm hating this house.
It's causing problems than good. It's dividing the family. You can't spend time together, but then that's the realities of most people.
Yes. And like, I remember my mom would tell me as a kid, this you and me being home together is not normal, because she was a stay-at-home mom, and she homeschooled me from kindergarten all the way out.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't get it. Why is it not normal? So
it's a great life. It really is. I mean, my mom stayed home for the majority, of us, but we went to school. We were not homeschooled. But that's a benefit to have your mother at home during the day. Yeah. But for you, all the time.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it was like I was trying to juggle, like Joe was gone working, so I was trying to juggle, like at that point, what I did was all about calling people and closing the sales. So it was like, oh geez, let's hope the kids don't start, because we had the 2 little ones at home, 2 going to school.
Right.
So I was like dealing with all of that, and then the guy was like, oh, the hole in the roof still hasn't been fixed. This is a year later, girl. And he's like, I paid the contractor to do it. He didn't come. And I'm like, I don't believe you.
Liar.
Yeah, I was like, but we're staying here. So at this point, I was like, Joseph, I was like, are we going to just stay here, keep living like this? Because we were doing a 2-year lease to own.
Right.
So it was coming up to that 2 years. And I was like, okay, guy, here's the deal. I was like, if you still want us to buy this thing with this hole in this roof, I want you to sell it to us at what you owe on that thing. And he's like, no, and the roof is fine. By now, the electrical was like scaring me because there's water up in there, mold. I'm like, ah. So I was like, okay. I was like, how about this? We're gone. So we took the little bit of money that we had and bought that 18-foot wolf pup trailer. That's like, I looked at one the other day and I was like, how do we live in that?
Because you had smaller kids at the time, and then you could maneuver. It makes a difference.
Well, I mean, my oldest was still 14. So, I mean, this was just recently, that in February is when we upgraded our RV that's back there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yes. So we started full-timing November 2017.
Okay.
So our knowledge of RVing was, I was an RV kid. That was it. We had never, but it's so different from like being a kid. Like, oh, mom and dad moved the RV while I was sleeping, to, oh, we have to get a brake controller for the truck and what's weight distribution and a sway bar. I don't know what that is.
Well, you
So,
dynamic of what a house looks like and the responsibilities of a house, the hole in the roof, to all of the dynamics of an RV. Now you're mobile, so it's certain things that you have to have in place in order to live that particular lifestyle. So you learn something brand new, even though you were already accustomed in a sense due to your parents. So you already had an
yeah.
itch to it, just a little
Well,
bit.
my husband was the one that really wanted to do it because he was military. He was used to moving around.
Right?
And I was like, oh my gosh. I was truthfully thinking about what all my friends that had gotten accustomed to me living a certain way were going to think, how they was going to feel about it. And yeah, a few of them weren't too happy.
Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, you got to do what's best for you and your family. Everybody else will adjust on the back end or not. But, at the end of the day, you have to be happy every day. And if a house is really starting to put a wedge between what you have and the relationship that you have with your husband, I mean, it's the most beautiful thing. So you don't want to jeopardize that. There's so many people in the world looking for what you have. So why would you want to do something to tarnish it? Bye bye, house. So I can't blame you at all for that. I really can't.
Yeah. Our first year was a year of learning. We
Yeah.
saw some cool things like the Grand Canyon, which was the most epic ever. So, like that, the kids, if you ask them like what was the coolest thing you saw, it's always the Grand Canyon, no matter what else we see. And then, like, some of the things that I saw were not at all what I thought they would be. Like, whenever I went to LA, I'd been there once before, but I flew in,
Hmm.
and yeah, I went there and I drove in the traffic. It wasn't as crazy as everything that I had heard to me.
Hmm.
I was like, I think these people are trying to get us to stay away. They're like, we need these tourists to go on somewhere.
Hard to do for LA. They're coming. It's going to be constant travel there. But then looking at it from this side of the tracks too, to look at it from a career standpoint and working online. So what has that been like, and how did you come up with the concept? Online marketing expert. Because there's an avenue of things that you do. You're blogging, you have a YouTube channel where you document everything that you guys do. Love that. So that's keeping family and friends close by you documenting. They can see where you are, what's going on. So how
Mm-hmm.
did you come up with the idea since husband came up with let's RV and hit the road?
Well, I've been working online since I got that house, and well, not the house, the place where my parents moved me at 12. I got a big tube of a computer. Try not to smash my foot with that thing. Like, how much stuff comes with this thing? You got the tower and then the bulb thing, and you're like, what is this? But I was so happy. It took me 30 minutes to load a web page, dial up, but the first company that I built was actually a paid to read email company, because I had found those sites like, sign up and we'll send you advertisements. You click, you get paid to read. And I was like, this is entirely too slow. It's like 2 cents a click. And I think I would like to be the person that sends the ads instead.
Exactly. Makes sense.
So like I just took that idea, made Jessica Lauren emails, because I wasn't a Vine at that time. My maiden name was Powell, but I was like, that sounds terrible. Jessica Powell emails. So I was like, Jessica Lauren emails, that works. So I made that, and I kept it for a little bit, but then somebody was like, hey, I'll buy it from you for $400. And I was like, I'm rich. So that was the start. of my online journey. I got rich at 12. I got
Four
$400.
$400. That is a lot of money at 12.
Yeah, it was great. I took care of all my own internet, anything that I wanted that was extra. I paid for all of it,
Hmm.
and I was proud of that. So my parents were like, "Sure, have at it." I
Oh,
don't care.
or at 12. That you really paved the way to what it is for you now. So in essence, you are doing the same thing that you saw growing up. You started a
Yep.
business young, you traveled with your parents, you were homeschooled. So you already have the mindset of independence.
Yeah, I can't help it.
It's a
I
good
don't
thing.
I don't like I've worked a lot of jobs for very
Mhm,
short times
mhm.
because I'm like, don't tell me what to do. So I don't know whether that's good all the time or not, but
It's a
it's
sure
served me so
sign
far.
that you should be an entrepreneur because it is one of those things because it's always an alternative to what is being asked of. And it's not that it's necessarily a pushback or don't tell me what to do. By the time you tell me you could have done it, that was my whole concept. Like, why are you telling me that? You could have done it in the amount of time
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
you do it. But at the same time, that's letting you know that I have more to offer than to just sit back and take instruction. And this is just what your job description is. Because when you are an entrepreneur, you have to do it all. You do
Mhm.
it all until you are able to afford help, if you can afford it. One, and outside of that, you are a one woman or a one man show. And it really takes focus and determination, drive to do that type of launch or make that type of a change in your life. So not only to do it like myself on this side, you're doing it and your wheels are rolling. You're everywhere else and maintaining. But your niche is entrepreneur women with small businesses.
Mhm.
That makes a difference. And I think it's some other things that you have for maybe those that stay at home and finding different careers that you can do from home because
Mhm.
you are home with the kids or whatever your situation may be. So, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so everybody's, it seems like a far, a far to reach place. Like, oh man, I wish I could, kind of deal. And the truth is now it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I mean, I did a post the other day. It was called 103 jobs for the free spirit, like
Yeah,
digital nomads.
yes.
And I was like, I didn't even know there was was this many. Oh my gosh.
It's time,
And I mean, think of all the things you don't have to be there in person for. You call someone for customer support. You call for tech support.
right?
You call people for attorneys for advice. You don't have to be in person with everyone. They have
Exactly.
texting therapists now. Like you don't even have to talk to someone live. You can just text them randomly.
That's true. I have it
So,
set up for what I do.
mhm.
If you don't want to talk, it's going to behoove you if you don't want to pay a lot. If your investment isn't so to participate in anything else, we can talk about it via text.
Yeah, and I mean, truthfully, a lot of people, like my husband, he hates being on the phone. One, because he can't hear from the military stuff he's been around, but for two, because he has anxiety when he talks on the phone. So it's like, why not? And then that gives like an opportunity. Like I meet people that are around the campgrounds and they're just camping for a week, and they find out, oh, you full-time RV. We are trying to do that, and I'm like, what do you do? Let me guess. You can probably do it remote. And they're like, what? And I like give them some ideas. I show them some jobs. They're like, what? I had no idea. So I'd like to hope that I help some people that maybe thought they were years away
Exactly.
get it a little bit closer.
It's a lot closer than you may think. It just takes some strategies, and really assessing what your life looks like, things that you can eliminate and completely live without. See, most people have attachments and they want that look, they want the image, however, not willing to do the work to get where they say they want to go. So once you commit to it, I say just leap, do it.
Yeah, because we actually do that a lot, the whole leaping thing. Like anything big that we've done, it's always been like, whoa, wow, that was pretty terrifying. Like, what was going on there?
It's okay.
Where our heads?
It's the form of a parachute, because if you don't take risks, you'll never try anything. You won't. It's always going to be something that's going to cause you to not do it. If you think about the what ifs, this doesn't work, or the what if from the negative side of it. However, if you focus on the things that are positive, then it's easy to dismiss those negatives if you prep for it and have your strategies in place, because nothing's going to be like a well-oiled machine in the beginning. It's going to take some tweaking and going back and reassessing some things as you go. But the important thing is going, starting.
Yeah, and now that I have a 15-year-old,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, he's taller than I am, which is freaky and awesome. And I told him the other day, we're very, very open about absolutely everything, and that's the way I want it. I'm like, if you're gonna do something that I just really don't want you to do, please just tell me anyway. I will wince and I will just deal with it, like because I would rather know than not.
Hot. Right.
So
Yeah.
I can maybe guide you a little bit, you know.
Well, he's
But
getting older now, you know,
yeah, and
girls, things like that. The thing.
oh, I'm so thankful. He has the most lovely girlfriend, Sophie,
Oh,
and she reminds me of me. And I'm like, yeah, boy. It's like,
mama's boy. Could he be? Could he be a mother's boy?
oh, yes, yeah. I was like, she's the boss, right? He's like, I know. Like,
That's
she's
good.
smart though. So, but yeah, she's great. She's going to university. I can always get this mixed up. She's over in England, so she's going to jockey school
Okay.
this August, and she's always messaging me, and so like I'm her mom. So like I just absolutely love that, and we're already like planning whenever she's coming over in a couple years and stuff like that.
Right.
So like that, I'm like, but even then, like, and my son is public about this too. He struggles and has struggled with depression and thoughts of suicide. And, you know, the first thing you want to do as a mom is say, where did I go wrong?
Right.
What did I do?
Right.
And then you remember you didn't do anything else wrong and didn't do anything wrong because, your parents were great and you struggled with the same thing.
Exactly.
And like I had never told him, and this is all like recent divulging to each other these things, and I had never told him that I'd struggled with thoughts of suicide or depression and things like that. And so many, I think we try to be these superheroes in our kids' minds, and it doesn't help them. It actually makes them feel like they're less than. It makes
And
them
alone.
feel like
Yeah.
it's really scary. And so now we've implemented things like, kids don't know what they need. They like, I'm like, what will make you feel better? What will help you?
Right.
Pull in a blank, right? They don't know. But, thankfully, my mom had me watching Dr. Phil and I Love Lucy as a kid. So I am a funny psychologist or whatever the heck he is. So, so it's kind of like Nathan was my son. He comes in and he's like, I got an attitude. And I'm like, got an attitude, boy. It's
I
like,
what to say about you. I know. Combination between Dr. Phil and Lucy.
So, I'm like, be serious, Vitamin Benjamin. Like, seriously. Get your act together.
Yes, get it together. But that's a great combination because Dr. Phil, the stern side, just really gonna tear it apart for what it is. But then Lucy being the humorous side, no matter how bad we may think it is, it's always something that's going to cheer us and a brighter side to whatever it is that we're dealing with, and it could be feeling alone and these attempts and thoughts of suicide and things like that is happening more than not now. And it's something that we have to be mindful of, opening the door with our children or kids that are in our lives, that to see the signs and talk openly with them about these things, because we're no different than they are. They're just in a world now that causes a whole lot more pressure. It's things that are
Yep.
completely different than when we grew up,
Mm-hmm.
my gosh. So you have to keep those lines of communication open. So I applaud you, even though you haven't said anything, but I know you will when the time comes. You will, because it's going to help you as well. It's only going to draw you closer to him. You have such a ridiculously close relationship right now. So imagine how it's going to be when you let him know, you know what, mom had those same thoughts, and she's still here. It's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
bright,
I did end up, talking with him about that and stuff
right.
because, he texts us, whenever he wants to
Yeah.
talk about things because he gets really emotional and just can't get it out.
Right.
And I'm like, don't worry, I'm the same. But, it made my day whenever he texts me and he's like, Mom, you're the biggest influence in my life. You
Oh,
know, um, his dad is not my husband. I actually had him at 17 and his
uh-huh.
father hasn't been in his life. So I'm sure that contributes to some of those feelings. The last conversation he had with him was actually like right around whenever we talked just a couple months ago, and it was not very nice. So, it's like, okay, mommy's cutting off contact now. So grown men need to realize when they're talking to little boys.
I, yeah, you have to look at that for what it is, because if it's damaging him or causing problems in his life, then you have to make that decision
Yeah,
to cut
because
the conversation.
as kids, they don't want to make that choice because it is their flesh and blood,
Right.
whether they've had anything to do with them or not. So
Right.
I was like, for the
Just
longest time, I'm
operate it.
always, yeah, it's really hard. And for the longest time, I was just like, it's up to you, and it's up to you. And he kept popping in and out of his life, and I
Mm-mm.
was like, why is it up to him? I'm like,
You're a parent.
no.
You can make that decision for him because he's still a minor. Because
Yeah,
whenever he's absent, guess what? You're the one having to deal with the wrath. You're the one that's having to deal with, him contemplating suicide. No, that is an absolutely not. And I'm grateful that he texts you about that, because not all of these kids are doing that. They're not communicating or reaching out. They're just doing it and just losing all these kids because of that.
well,
So,
the cool thing about my son is he's in this group, and there's about 200,000 of them,
yes.
and they call it the emo army, which
Oh,
basically means they are very emotional and they struggle with these kind of things. So
right.
he's the one of the head administrators, and he's super proud about that, and I'm proud of him too. And every once in a while, he'll come over and hug me, and he'll be like, "Mom, I just talked somebody out of killing themselves just now." I'm
Wow.
like,
That is
I'm so
so,
proud
yeah, wow.
that he cares. Oh God.
Girl, I know it. Get it out. But I'm not crying today. We've been not today. But you know what? That goes to show that you're doing everything right. even though you question yourself before, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? No, you're doing everything right, because first you saved his life by having open communication, by being the type of mother that you are, and showing them what free spirits look like. You're living a free spirit lifestyle, and that's pretty much in alignment with consciousness. Knowing what's best for you makes it what's best for your children, and making those decisions. And now it's transferring into other people that he care about and want to have a chance in life also. It can be combated one at a time. It's just going to take all of us to do our part in it.
Yeah, I totally believe that because, you know, like, I guess there's always this dance between, like, how do I make sure that I'm taking care of myself?
Yes.
And, you know, not being taken advantage of by, you know, people that are users, but also knowing when there's a person that needs help.
Yes.
And you can be that person to be there for them. And that can be a challenging dance, but if you really study it and learn the signs and, you know, take the time, because let's face it, most people just won't take the time to learn all that.
Exactly.
But if you do, it will change your life.
It will. It will. The very reason I do what I do every day. Introducing you to yourself in order so you can live in freedom every day. So there's no bondage and you're feeling trapped on the inside and suffering every day from a career or relationships that you're in. It's about making the decision and not waiting for somebody else to give you permission to do it. Just do it. You know, no matter what it looks like. Okay, I have to pack my bags and move, and everybody else is holding you by your ankles. But no, it's going to hurt me more to stay here than it would be for you to let me go and do what I need to do. So looking at that for what it is vital in life, because it will cause you to be sick in your mind. It will cause you to have heavy hearts, and then you feel like you have no out. And when those things take over your life, then that's where detriment comes in. However, when you want to be free of it all, let go of everything that's keeping you held bond to that thing. Cut the cord and say smooches. That's how it's always been. But here you go. You've done it completely different. But I'm not mad at you at all. I'm not. I can't say it enough. I'm probably going to say it 500 times. I applaud you for what you're doing, because I'm a free spirit also. I don't believe in staying somewhere, I won't stay for too long, but I know when it's time to leave. I know that. And that takes knowing yourself and knowing what's good for your life in order to discern that.
That's true.
You know, so when it's time to pull that anchor up, and I'll start letting the family know a little bit at a time, like, you know what? I'm going to be going over here. So, oh yeah, I'm going to go to Italy. Oh yeah. You know, and these things, they come up. And my best friend said to me when I moved back to the Carolinas, I moved back to Charlotte. She said, well, how long are you going to be here? That was one of the first things that she said, how long are you going to be here?
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I said, as soon as God speak and he tell me to go different, I'm out. I'm out. And it's always been that, because whenever you feel compelled to do something different or led to do something different, it means it's something meant for your life where you're going. And you can't receive it if you don't show up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's the law of timing, but people don't get the law of place that often, because they just want to stay in one spot and hunker down and hope that nothing bad comes there.
Forever and ever. And never left the city. Never left that one place, afraid of everything. And that's not living. That's not living at all. Experience. Go and say you did that. Not say, I wish I had done that. Say you have done it and tell a story of the experience while there. So grow up and get out. I mean, That's how I look at it. And I just get so hot, sometimes when I think about it and then have to pull my fan out. Because of the simple fact, life is to be lived, and that's why I put that caption on our show tonight, because home is where the heart is, not an address. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
That
So,
I had to learn that, girl, though. I had never had panic attacks before, ever.
right,
And I remember in Arizona, so we're what, 1,500 miles away from home,
right.
sitting in right over near Sedona, Arizona, looking at the most beautiful sunrise because I had to drive there to get the internet that I needed to work because there was no internet in the valley. I mean, there's the law of place acting for you. So
Exactly. Not here, go there.
it was the most gorgeous sunrise I'd ever seen, and the hot air balloons were coming up. Like, it
Oh,
was awesome. And I just started thinking about how far away from home we were and how broke we were. That didn't help. And I had a panic attack right there, and I did not know what was wrong with me. I was like, what is going on? And I remember, like, I was just ready to give up, but I couldn't get back because I was that broke. So,
yeah.
so,
Broke where you get it.
well, sometimes you see, if we had money, we wouldn't have done what we needed to do.
Right.
So I was like, okay, so I'm to the point where I will do whatever I need to do, no matter how much money I have. So after I decided that, I stopped being broke all the time.
Right. It's a mindset.
It was like, I remember that I was like, Joseph, I figured out why we're broke all the time. He's like, do tell. I was like, because it's a cop out for one. So like, oh, I can't go because I'm broke.
Right.
Oh, I can't because I'm everything. Like, people ask you, hey, you want to go out to this nice restaurant? Even if you had money, you're like, nah, I don't want to hang out with you because you
Right.
negative. But you're like, sorry,
Uh,
gotta, buy kids clothing and such.
Excuses.
But now I just say, nope.
And don't care. You can't care. Say it, mean it without explanation. You don't owe
Mm-hmm.
anybody any explanations about what happens in your life. You don't. You explain because they are expecting it. However, because they are, don't mean that they're worthy of receipt of that. Nobody
True.
controls you but you. Period. End of sentence. Done. You do what you want to do, and it doesn't always look the way we think it should look. However, it doesn't make it wrong. But when you give opportunity to things, then you can flourish in it. It may take a little bit longer. However, it happens in due time. In due time. But in the meantime, keep working toward the goal of whatever that vision is, that preview God has given you. You cannot give up on that at all. You can't. Wow.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So when that aha happens, it's a great feeling when aha happens. It's like,
It's it's like great, and then it's also like, though.
why didn't I think of this before? It wasn't time. It's worthy of talking about the testimonies. Any risk that you take, it's going to be curvy, not straight. It's curvy. You've got to hit some bottoms. You've got to be broke. You've got to learn how to manipulate the things that happen in your life so you don't revisit that again.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've been there, you don't want to go back. So
Right.
learn what you need to learn as you grow in order to get to that ideal spot of things that we're supposed to do. I mean, I constantly say it about myself. Like, I don't look like my circumstances, I don't look like the things I've gotten through. And that's the beauty in it all. That's the beauty in it. Testimonies, learning, growing, flourishing, changing, evolving, being as you grow. Because if you had everything posh all the time, we'd all be the same. And who wants that?
And pretty bored, I would imagine.
Very boring conversations. You know,
How was your week? Fabulous.
yes,
Yours?
fabulous.
Also fabulous.
Yeah. So you know what? Starting a business this week, planning some parties this week. Oh yeah, sold a house, moved, situations different. I'm going to be going this place. In your case, I have an RV and we're out of here. You know, and from this side, change happen often, and it's about embracing the changes that come about and not settling for things that's not going to increase you or grow you or cause you to think or challenge yourself to be better than you are today. Because if you can be better tomorrow than you are today, then if you're not challenging yourself. Have those goals that make you feel so uncomfortable and question if you're going to achieve them. Once you
Yep.
achieve it, then it's like, oh my goodness, okay, let's go a little bit further this time. Let's get a little more risky this time. And then you become somebody you never would recognize yourself to be in the end. You don't. So
Yep.
this girl right here, I'm telling you, I love it. I love who I'm becoming every single day, because you couldn't have told me not even 2 years ago that I'd be sitting here doing what we're doing right now. But due to life circumstances, things will change to where you become that much more creative of things that you can do to generate differently, to put you in a different space, to connect with people that are like you but not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we've got quite a few people that's dropped into the room. So hello to every
Hey.
came in. Do you see comments? Do you see them?
I don't. I think it's like.
Swipe
Let me see if I
left.
can swipe. Oh, there's Cindy. Yeah, there we go.
Yes. So I want to say
Cindy's on. Oh, my son
everybody,
is watching.
is he watching?
Oh, and
Yes, I saw
my
your
good friend
husband.
Howard.
Yes,
Everybody's hopping on.
everybody hopping in, and that's a good thing, because I like for you to see of who's in the room, who's come and who's gone. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that's in. Continue with your comments. You know, we get caught up in juicy conversations sometimes, and it's difficult to pop back and forth and respond all at the same time. However, just know at the end of the broadcast, we will acknowledge and then respond to each and every one of you. However, if there's something specific that you'd like to share or inquire from myself or Jessica, by all means, put it in the comments. Do that, because she is a wealth of knowledge. Anybody who can pack it up and be in an RV traveling around the country, raise 4 kids, and having a cat and a dog, along with her husband.
Yeah.
So to do all these things and then still run her business and have clients, not too many people are willing to do that. They can do it if they want to, but they're not willing to do that because of fear of different things taking place in their lives, image. And I recently had this conversation with someone too, because even what I do, most people won't do. It's not a fear bone in my body. I tried it. I will try it and tweak it if I love it that much. Like this, I love that much. Being a conscious lifestyle strategist, love that much. And no, these are things that I was absolutely born to do. And then you throw a little music in, you can't beat it. writing my books, having freedom to do the things that I love to do, the things that create the layers of who I am, and have the freedom to do it, and then can have clients to make money doing that at the same time. Life is freedom, living in freedom every day. LIFE. If you're not experiencing that, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I've lived in both, from where I've been dreading
Yeah.
the place that I was going to work, where I was like literally like going to be sick.
Sick. Sick. Calling out, using all your vacation time early before March. You're done for you.
Why I feel like you've done this.
I know what that feels like. Don't want to go back to that. Put it this way, not going back to that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Not.
That's one of the things that, if I don't feel like getting up in the morning, I'm like, do you really want to do that? Get up.
Yes, to do what you want to do what you enjoy doing. And that way, you don't have to force yourself up. You get up on your own. You're excited about it. You've already planned what you want to do that day.
Yeah. My morning consists of waking up when I want to, which is like 7:30,
Uh-huh.
which is like so perfect, right before the kids all get up.
Yeah.
My husband gets up and picks me some coffee, and
Your
then we
story.
can have a little chat in there and talk. Well, before I wake him up, I do my meditation and I do my morning pages. So
Yeah.
like I write 500 words of just whatever and get it
Right.
all out there.
Right.
And then usually the littlest one will wake up and then wake the rest of them up, and then our oldest son, sleeps in his own tent, which I'll show you our setup here in a minute.
Love it.
But yeah, he's got a full setup, and he's even watching the live. He isn't even here. He is with our good friends. Like, they're also full-time RVers, and they're in the same park right now. He done kidnapped my son and took him off to get some wood and like make
Love that.
fishing stuff. So it's really cool. But like, whenever I think about that, I'm like, this is so nice. Like, I am so grateful. And then about 9 o'clock, I take my 30-second commute and close my doors. And I start writing or like doing SEO work, whatever it is that I've got to do first in the morning. Sometimes I got to reply to some clients and be like, no, that ain't what that term means. That is not it. That's not it. Let me tell you. So
It's something different. It's that easy. Your days don't look like the typical days. It's what you make of it. And on certain days, you do certain things. And once you become adjusted to that, then you can orchestrate other things that you want to do in that day. So you're not a slave to anybody. And if you choose to be, it's all for yourself. It's for you and your family. And that's where the benefit lies. And to just be able to do it is a wonderful thing. Because I know I'll wake up, I'll read my words, something devotional in the morning. I'm just going to lay there, clear my thoughts, listen to the birds. Love listening to the birds in the morning, and just saying, okay, God, whatever you want us to do today, we're going to do that. And then I already know what my schedule is. I don't have my first appointment until 11 o'clock. No, I can do whatever I want until 11. And then that's when the day starts. And then you've had time to take it all in and just focus on you. How can you be greater today than you were yesterday? What am I grateful for? And sometimes I'll just grab my phone and just record that. I'll record what I'm grateful for because I write my blog every day on LinkedIn, gratitude time. So sometimes I just have 10 of them already recorded. So I just play it back, write them out, and that's it. Post it.
awesome.
Keep it moving. It's that unbelievable. It is. And it's not easy. Not always. but it takes time to get where you're going. Just be willing to do the things necessary and love yourself to give yourself a chance to have that life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't care what other people think. Never have, and don't think I'll ever will. I don't. You can't care like that to where your life is altered because of somebody else's opinion of what could be for you, because that's just them projecting their fears on you. So sometimes you have to shine, even if you have to shine by yourself. Shine.
Yeah. As a recovering people pleaser,
Mm-hmm.
it it was not a it was not fun because like it's weird because like 7 years ago I was not, well, 7 years and a month ago I was not a people pleaser. My mom passed.
Hmm.
I became a people pleaser.
Oh.
Like instantly. She's gone. I'm terrified. I have my husband. I had three of my kids at that point, but
Yeah.
I was terrified because my mom was my rock. You know, I'm 25 years old. I had just moved back from Kansas City to be in Tennessee with them. And I'm like, wow. Like it was pretty kind of traumatic stuff that went around that time. So like it was not just like, oh, it's sad my mom passed, but like there was things that happened that I didn't agree with. Like, no, probably my family is not going to see this part maybe, but like they didn't believe in taking people to the doctors that much.
Yeah.
So she passed, and I actually had went to North Carolina and was staying with my cousin because I was so upset. And I got to talk to her on the phone about 20 minutes before she died,
Oh.
and she was telling me how she was not thinking it would be like this, and it was scary. And I was just begging my dad to take her to the doctor, and he was telling me how much faith I didn't have.
Mm.
And I was just torn apart because my dad was so angry at me, and of course he's hurting. That's his 42-year marriage.
Right.
But yeah, that just right when she died, that was when that people pleasing came on, because I was like, I just remember driving back home and just being so distraught. Like that was my biggest fear of out of everything in my whole entire life, was losing my mom. Because
Right.
there was not a day in my life that I didn't talk to her. There wasn't like a, oh, I forgot to call mom. No, that was the morning. Like my husband knew he got me for like a little bit, and then I go call mom. um,
That's
he's
right.
like, she'll be gone for like a while.
Oh, man.
So um, it was really hard. It was just recently whenever I started looking at who's toxic in my life, and whenever I started looking, like I redefined toxic, because like I started thinking, instead of thinking toxic is someone that is viciously physically attacking,
Right.
like I'm
Right.
thinking that's probably a toxic person. But then I started thinking a toxic person is anyone that makes me feel less than.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I would just look at someone's picture on Facebook and it just
You get a
I'm
chill.
like, why's my face?
Yeah. That's a sign.
So
Like,
I was like, well, and the thing was, girl, this is so great. This is how bad it was. Like I was like, I should probably like message them and apologize to them because we're no longer going to be connected.
I don't say a word. I just
And
disappear.
I
No.
was like, no. But then I realized that we were like connected in this network. So like I would comment on people's stuff and they'd be like, why are you talking to yourself? Because they couldn't see my stuff. Oh, and I was like, do I like these people that much either? Not really. I think
No.
they gotta go too.
It's a good feeling. It's a
a good feeling, because otherwise you're taking in that negative energy. And it doesn't have to be so bright in your face to where they're blatant disrespecting you or making you feel horrible. But you have discernment. You can feel it. And it's just certain things that you probably let slide and didn't say something when you could have said something because you give them opportunity. Oh, well, and then you come up with the excuses for them. However, those things build up over time, which also would cause anxiety attacks. So when
Yeah.
you realize whoever is toxic, you deem them as such.
Yeah. Bye, Felicia.
No warning. Just disappear. I will stop calling you. I will stop receiving your calls, the whole nine. Because
Yeah.
I don't have to do that. I really
Well,
don't. It's my life.
I had to, uh, sorry, I had to plug up my phone. It's like 10%. But yeah, I had to just be like, I'm gonna be all right. Like, I mean, I don't know, it was crazy. I've been like digging up people in my past, like, who is that one person that I met that one time? Like, I felt like it was my responsibility to stay connected, but that came from my mom
Right.
because she was the oldest of 8,
Yes.
and she kept everyone connected. Like, you were not gonna be not knowing that your sister's baby's cousin had a tooth fall out. No, you thought I was gonna say a birthday, didn't you? Nah, a tooth.
That is extremely connected. Yes, it is. The baby
So,
fell out this morning. Everybody knows. So, okay.
so like when she did pass, it looked like the baton was gonna be handed to me. I stepped back from said baton.
Yeah.
I was like, no, thank you.
Right.
But like in doing so though, I took on guilt. And so then I tried to be like, how can I serve these people and be of value to them in another way?
Right.
Because I don't want them to not love me and not care about me.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe they just wanted to keep in touch with me. They're my aunt, of course, they love me. But, like maybe they just don't care anymore because mom's gone. And, you know, totally unfounded fears. My aunts love me and they're awesome. But
That's just in your head. You
I
know.
mean, that's what happens whenever you lose someone that you really care about. A
Right.
lot of times, it looks like a sweater that's getting unraveled. Just that one little string just
Pulling.
comes loose,
Mm-hmm.
and there you are in a crop top.
Yeah, we don't want your top up here. So, but when you realize it, then you take and you put a knot in that and you stop it from raveling by
And you
accepting,
rock that crop top.
and you rock top. That's right. You rock it and you mean it, because it's a lot of lessons in that. And sometimes it takes such a tragedy of losing someone that is close to you like that. That is eye opening for yourself. Now you have to discover your own identity, and you don't want to accept something that's you feel is going to be passed down to you because it doesn't feel good and it's not going to be who you are. And you want
Yeah.
to walk into the grace of who you are and not that other person. They already took care of that. That was their walk, not yours.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I have to send a little hug to Cindy. She just said
and
that I keep her smiling. Aw.
that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
So,
But I tell you
yeah,
what, you and I can go and go and go because
yeah.
it's easy to do. And I heard you say you have 10%. I'm sure it's probably less than that now. So we may have to catch up on another time and continue this. But I just want to say congratulations on everything that you're doing. And just remember everything your mother did teach you, because I know your relationship was extremely close. carry that on, all of the joys of the things that she taught you, and what you're teaching your sons about being free and not being confined to space. That's the most beautiful gift you could ever give them, to live their lives, no matter what it looks like, no matter what you have to do to paint the picture of what your life looks like. That's a gift. It is.
Definitely.
It is. Now, just in case there are tons of people, sparrows, in the room that want to contact you, because when I tell you she is juicy, she is an expert when it comes to online marketing. And there's tons of people that I know that have small businesses, women, men alike. However, her niche is women. So, how would they reach out to you if they wanted to start something or tweak something they currently have with SEO or different types of marketing genres, affiliates, whatever? How would they contact you?
Yeah, so the fastest way to get in contact, because like if you message on Facebook, sometimes it goes into the other box. I'm not going to see it for months, so don't do that. Like, I don't want to lose you.
Yeah.
But if you go to jessicalaurenvine.com and hit contact, fill out that form. Those come through, pop up in my inbox, and they'll be there waving at me, and I will get back to you within 24 hours.
That is good news. And if you could also, at the end of our show, if you could go into comments and respond to all of those juiciness and questions, I'm sure that, and it's the purpose I take my glasses off, because I can't read the comments. So I to you because I'm reading and talking to you, and then let's get all off. So no. So if you can go in and respond to those, it would be fabulous. And I'm going to say to the sparrows, definitely follow Jessica. She is a hoot. Be sure to follow her YouTube channel, because it is a hoot. She is funny. And like she said, she's a combination of Dr. Phil and Lucy. And this is all the time. It's not a joke. The girl have me in stitches every time we talk. So that's what I'm going to say, because I know you have to go. Your percentage is getting extremely low, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show as well. But I thank you so much for coming on to spend some time with us today. It's been a long time coming. It took us months, 3 or 4 months, but the time it came, and I'm grateful for you. And it's some things I'm sure you and I will talk about as well, with SEO.
Well, thank you so much for having me. We definitely connected so great the first time, and I was like, this is a cool chick.
It's a privilege to have you, sincerely. And you're welcome anytime. So if you want to come back, you're on your journeys and you just want to show us some stuff. You were supposed to show us the tent, but I know you're
Hang on, let
not
me
going to
see.
have the juice to do it, probably.
Oh, hang on, let me see. I've got my makeshift sun shield up here on the car.
Uh-huh.
Do you hear that song? Like, is it just me? Like, my radio is like playing that song again.
It's meant for you to
So,
hear that.
so here's our tent setup. Got the awning out.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so I don't want to open that thing. It's probably got boy stench in there. So yeah, he's got his little tent there. And over here, yesterday, I saw a snake. So I'm not going
Oh,
over there.
keep that. Keep that. No
But yeah,
snakes.
yeah, it's pretty out here. We're right near the resort cabins. So
Oh,
there we are.
it's peaceful. That is extremely peaceful. I hear the crickets.
Oh yeah, they're crazy out here. They're pretty loud.
Yeah, that's the country girl in me. You can hear those crickets, honey. Crickets and birds, you can detect what noise it come from which species. It's nuts. But it's a wonderful thing also at the same time. So it's all about nature and being a part of it, because nature truly saves our lives. It does, when you take time to spend in it. Wow. So I'm going to say thank you so much, Jessica, because I don't want your phone to just click off on you. But you and I will talk later. I'll give you a jingle on tomorrow. So smooches for now, dear. And we can't hear you. Okay. Sparrows, Juiciness with Jessica. It's always a great conversation with her, and she is one of those special people that I've been privileged to meet while doing what I do. And one of the additional gifts, you don't know who you're going to meet on any given day. And I'm just going to keep the adventure going by bringing them and share what they do and their lifestyles and things that could push you to do greater in your own life and just be fabulous in it, no matter what it looks like. And making sure be brave and courageous and love life enough to live it. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to go as well. It's a little after 8, so I'm going to say love without conditions, always possess a positive attitude, and soar in all you do. I love you, mean it. Switches. If I can close out. I can't close out.